Welcome to today's general live stream, general reading. Please give me a second. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope that you're feeling into the positive vibes. I'm recording this 2026 January, and it started off slow. It's been a pretty slow one for the past week, settling into the new year. And I and many others, we've all been encouraging and feeling into, I'm sure you have too, if you're watching this 2026 January, but also timeless intention. And this may be relevant. You may be coming out of, or you will be coming out soon, of a stage of reflection, just kind of cleaning everything up and not really planning, not looking ahead, looking back and making sure that everything back there, making sure you're done with it, you know? I'm getting the vibe of putting everything in storage. Yeah, because things in the past, they always have a way of creeping themselves back into our present, attaching to us, you know. But yeah, the image of packing things into a storage room and specifically going through all of the things that you're putting into the storage room and making sure that you're not going to need these things again, you know. That kind of sensation feels most important. For the making sure part. So if there's anything that you've been dealing with in the past, or anything that you have been maybe preparing to let go of, or consider that is something that you need to do now. Make sure that you are not holding on to things that you do not feel a resonance or alignment with in people, in behavioral patterns, in your career. It feels like there's huge change afoot. This is a huge pivotal time in needing to instill a change and make sure that change has longevity. That's what I'm feeling into. Let me shuffle and see what the vibe is. Let me just pull more cards, get more of a story before I say. Interesting. Okay. Fascinating. And then what is this? Wow. Yeah. We have the Death card as the opening energy. Then we have the Star in reverse. And then it followed with the Four of Swords. And then as I was shuffling, I noticed that there were cards that were like facing downwards. I don't know if that's an error on my part or if it happened to be part of the shuffling, like I should have checked that everything was upright and proper. But anyway, these two cards came to my attention as the cards were faced downwards and they were in reverse. Let's get into the reversal energies quickly. Huge change afoot. Very big newness oncoming. I'm getting, just looking at this all, a resistance of that. And I guess thank you to the energy that came through regarding needing to make sure needing to make sure, because it's giving that there is something that needs to change in someone's life, you or someone you know. Something needs to change and it's not happening. And there's a resistance to that. There's a resistance to the change that needs to happen. But it doesn't need to happen anytime soon. This combination is also a message and symbolism of deep internal change, a very big shift. Someone who is like going through very big emotional changes in short periods of time, but who may present to be very calm still on the outside. If you've been feeling emotionally upheaved or deeply sensitive or triggered, easily triggered, and no, not hormones. I'm always speaking energetic and spiritual, but yeah, our hormones have a lot to do with our energy. If you've been feeling that way, consider the fact that you are basically dying inside, but in a good way, in a transformative way, in a way that's like, this needs to happen so that this can be upright. I think the star in reverse is very, I said I was going to go into it. Let's read the interpretation first. But I was going to say it's very urgent. It's almost like the Hermit in reverse to me, where something of your spirit is being ignored, and the urgency for you to start being aware of your internal senses and of needing to surrender, trust in the divine, have faith, all of that stuff, now is the time, and you need to do it or else. or else. So this speaks of inability to see hope in a situation, unresolved pain disguised as arrogance, pessimism, apathy, or hopelessness, resistance to new opportunities or ideas, a need for a new perspective. I think that if by chance you relate to those statements and to the sensation specifically of the inability, hopelessness, the inability to see hope in a situation, then I think that this can all be resolved through meditation. So put time aside, especially with the presence of these cards, put time aside to meditate, use solfeggio frequencies if that suits. I love those. I will link some of my absolute favorites. I actually think I've made a playlist on YouTube and that it's public, so I will go about sharing the ones that I use. And maybe placing intention before you go into the meditation could be helpful. However, it's giving that if you affirm something like, or hold in your imagination, the idea that as you meditate, there will be light streaming in from above. Do it. Actually imagine it. Actually say, I'm going to meditate and I want the light I want heavenly, divine light or whatever to come into my body and do its thing. You know what I mean? The intention is so powerful. Your intention, your awareness, your perception, what you choose to believe in is so powerful. And it seems like you are forgetting that. And now is not the time. Now is not the time to forget that. The presence of these cards also giving that you were so close. You were so close. So this state of hopelessness that you're in now is just like, you serious? Don't give up. Don't stop having hope at the very least. Like whatever you do is whatever you do. But inside, don't ever stop looking to God, or don't stop looking to hope, to positive mindset, to optimism, And if none of those can be accessed, then at the very least to acceptance. And try your very, very best to be present in the moment. Feel through the things that you feel, the hopelessness, the pain, the negative, the arrogance, pessimism. Yeah, I totally relate to this actually. So anyway, feel through it. Be patient with it as you let it move through you. Obviously, there's no forcing it or pushing it away. If you feel pessimistic right now, then it's not going to be a quick, oh, it's okay, just be positive. Like this kind of deep state is, to me, is very important to surrender to and give reverence to. Let it do its thing. Try to be in a state of acceptance as it passes through you. Meditation. Let's get into the 8 of discs and judgment in reverse. I'm going to do judgment first. This card in reverse speaks of the inability or refusal to heed the call. Wow. A fundamental important opportunity missed through fear, pride, obstinacy, or constraining attitude. This can lead to soul sickness or even death. Oh my God. Wow. There's something that you gave up hope on recently. You switched gears and told yourself that you're going to need to do something else. Or you're persisting in something that you can feel you don't have the energy to do anymore. You don't want it. Like it doesn't make you happy, it doesn't make you feel good. It's giving that it's likely a job. Let's get into the 8 of discs as well. The wow that gave me, the wow that paused me was how both of these interpretations open with or highlight this energy of an inability to choose the light or to face or turn to the light. You are, again, like I said, it's something to be revered. It's a real struggle to stay hopeful and energized and to feel alive consistently. And just by the way, not normal. I've addressed this in previous readings. If you are experiencing that kind of thing, it's time to pay attention. It's definitely time for a change. This is also giving the sensation of what happens when you feel deeply depressed and you go through suicidal ideations. It's not that you want to die. It's that you need to change. Something about your life or something about you internally is going through a very dramatic 180 change that needs to happen now. So it's dying. It's a death. You're experiencing the death. You're already dying. By the time those suicidal ideations and things settle in and the depression, all that, by the time it settles into your body, you're already dying. Your process has already begun, you know? So you just have to give way to it and let it happen. Yeah. This is an intense one. Because this is the energy of what I'm feeling into for this year in general. The fear of being hopeful, the fear of making impulsive, risky decisions, and how, in contrast, and yet, this is something that exactly if you do, you will win. It's guaranteed. Doing the crazy thing is the thing to do right now. At your own discretion, use your discernment. This card speaks of frustration with your work, allowing this to become an overriding concern without considering ways to improve the situation. Sacrificing quality for short-term returns, lack of concern for your product and customers, workaholism. All right, many frequencies, but the main one is somebody's working a job that they absolutely fucking hate, and they are telling themselves that they need to push at this job, just keep going and keep returning to the job. Like, somebody wasn't supposed to stop working. 2026 Jan, I'm recording this on the first week of everybody returning back to work and stuff. A lot of you were not supposed to do that. A lot of you were supposed to resign or maybe even take more time, even if you call in sick or something stupid like that, I don't know. But a lot of, there's so much misaligned, so many misalignments and people working jobs and doing things, clocking in to systems that they really should have left a long time ago. It's a waste of energy. It's a suppression of energy. All that time you're spending in your 9 to 5, Giving to someone else's dream is harnessing the energy that you could be using for your own dream. This is very different from somebody who is working a job and doing their desired hobby on the side and taking the money from that job and investing in their hobby. Very different. Something you should consider, something that's calling so many people. Like, it's really time to start getting into your hyperfixations and your deep interests and the little joys that make you very happy. It's the time to do that stuff. To follow the eat, pray, love thing. It's really the time to do it, and you are going to be so energetically supported through it if you do. But this is a card pull and a deck of reading of people who are just insisting on sticking with things that just aren't working. It's just not working. It's just not working. It's not working. It's time to go. It's time to leave. It's time to leave that job. It's time to leave that relationship. It's time to leave that habit. It's time to leave that way of thinking. It's time to stop being hopeless and start believing that this little boat is going to sail towards better. There is better. There has to be better, because there's nothing worse than being in this kind of misalignment. There's nothing worse than not being energetically excited about waking up every day. Especially when the potential of what you could be doing is so much greater than this. Can you imagine somebody who is in a dead relationship with somebody who they don't feel comfortable being honest with? Somebody who controls them, but disguises it as what? As these are my terms and conditions. Or rather, who disguises it as, this is how I love. This is my love language. So this is what I want you to do. And this is how I know that you care about me if you do this. That kind of narcissistic frequency. Imagine being in a relationship with someone like that, when you could be in a relationship with somebody who honestly reflects the true state of you within. I'm getting the frequency now that I'm talking about relationships. I'm getting the frequency of somebody who is calm, somebody who is emotionally mature, and they're in a relationship with who is emotionally mature, and they're in a relationship with somebody who is emotionally immature. It's difficult to say. An emotionally mature person who's in a relationship with an emotionally immature person, and the mature person is always doing the heavy load, and they think that that's what's supposed to happen. Sorry, which card can symbolize that? Yeah, they think that that's supposed to happen. The hopelessness. They think that this is how relationships are supposed to be. Like, this is the price you pay for love. This is compromise. This is the relationship compromise. This is what you have to do. That's not what you have to do, babe. That is not, you do not have to keep going through life picking up other people's slack is another thing. So transferring it to a work situation, somebody who is working a job that they're very good at and that people around them appreciate them for, but it's just a continuous cycle of always picking up after other people's stuff because you're so good at your job. Yeah, you accidentally became good at your job. And now everybody relies on you. Now you're doing extra work without a pay that matches. Now your boss can contact you after hours. What? Now he can get you, now your fucking, now your manager has access into your mind, you know? Now you're having dreams about being late to work or about not being productive at work. I hate that. Especially if you're working a 9 to 5, you're working a job that you really are just in for the money. Now it's penetrated your subconscious like that. You're having dreams about it. It's settling into your body, and you're spending your week in, week out going through that wave of Monday comes you're miserable, Friday comes you're happy, Sunday comes you're miserable, Monday comes you're miserable. And now this is your emotional flow, like all the time, because of this fucking 9 to 5 you're working. It's It's tapping in again to something I think I read in the last reading I did, which I'll link in the description, of like, you as a human with our human potentials, we are so powerful, and we are capable of bringing in so much into our lives and making such empowered choices. And it's so simple. It's so easy to just choose what you want, to just choose your inner light. It's difficult, actually. The work to understand it is difficult. But once you get into the swing of living in this divine nature and divine awareness, you'll realize it's very, very easy. And the sensation of divinity and of God's presence, and your intuition and the inner compass that tells you what to do and what not to do, you'll find once you get into the own swing of how you understand that language, that it's always been there and it's always been talking to you, actually. You just ignore it because no one taught you how to do it properly. No one can teach you. It's something you have to learn yourself. It's something that you can get into if you just meditate. Be still. I'm also getting a suggestion of isolating, spiritual isolation. You know what it is. Get time to yourself. This is kind of giving hermit, but the hermit gives a state of, it actually is giving the energy of the hermit to me. Let me just think about. Okay, it's giving the part. I'm trying to separate why this isn't the hermit, because if it were the hermit, then the hermit wouldn't have just come out. But it does remind me of the hermit. It's very internal work. It's deeply spiritual, but with the presence of the death card, it's giving that, like, I'm getting somebody whose small ego mind told them, I need to keep choosing this. I need to keep choosing this relationship. I need to keep choosing this career path. I need to keep doing this because it just makes sense. Yeah, no, it makes sense. Yeah. And your universe, your angels, even your own inner soul is just going, oh my God. Okay, move out of the way. This is how it's supposed to be. And that move out of the way is them kind of sitting you down and going, just sit back. You look at what I'm about to do. And they're about to rearrange everything, do a lot of crazy stuff. This is also giving... Yeah, this is giving somebody who tends to be good at their work, and then they start to reach a low in terms of their productivity, and it doesn't make any sense to them. Or to make it very, very simple, imagine a teenager, a child in school who's doing badly, who's not focusing. They used to fly high with their marks, and then their marks fell. And it's not at the there's nothing that child can do in terms of like studying harder or whatever. There is something that child is going through internally. That was actually a poor example, but I said it. What I actually wanted to start off with when I listed the first example that I should have finished was someone at work who I'm getting one mistake that kind of ruins the work, ruins everything, so to speak. One mistake and you get a warning. Then you happen to do another mistake. You're not doing it on purpose, but you happen to do another mistake, you get another warning. And then you happen to do another mistake again. Again, because there's something going on internally within you that is like that hopelessness, and it causes a misalignment. And it's obviously then going to cause you to action out misaligned actions, so that then the consequences that happen from those misaligned actions are themselves also like misaligned. But that whole misalignment is brought to your attention to align you again. So it's, wow. It's very practically. Okay, let me break it down further. You are working a job that you need to show up at a specific time for, a waitress job. And I'm speaking from experience. I guess this is why it's easier to say and speak on. You're working a waitress job, you show up on your shift, but you're late and you don't do it on purpose. You're just exhausted. You're exhausted. You're experiencing physical exhaustion because spiritually you are not aligned. Because on a spirit level, you know that you're working this waitress job that you're not supposed to be working anymore. But you keep pushing, but your spirit knows. So you show up late to work because you're really tired. And you show up and your boss says, if you show up late to work again, I'm going to give you a warning. You do it and you get a warning. Then your boss says, if you do this again, we're going to have to get a hearing going. And then it happens and you get a hearing. And then you face that pivotal point in your path where in that hearing, and this could play out in any way, but this is an example. In the hearing, you get a moment where the manager or whoever's present goes, do you actually want to work this job? Because the way that you're behaving, it's as if you don't. It's like you're not in it. Do you really want this? Do you really want this? When that moment comes, because we all go through that with the choices that we make a decision. And if we pay close enough attention, the universe responds back with okay, here's what this could look like if it were fully in your life. I can't bring it fully, but I'm giving you something like it, or I'm giving it to you through someone else, where you find someone else, you happen to come across somebody else who has the thing that you want or is living, who has the thing that you want. That's the universe going, do you actually want this? Are you actually willing to sacrifice and change and mold and learn and grow and do all the things that this path you want will require from you? Are you willing, truly? You can say yes or no. A lot of people say things like, I would really like to live a truly happy life. Then something deeply depressing happens. That's the universe going, do you really want to live a truly happy life? Do you really? Because that happiness that you seek, it's going to come at the cost of knowing how to handle it when it's not there. You know? Things like that. This is a very deeply philosophical approach to what seems like a very simple 3D misalignment, but isn't. It's very indicative of a soul misalignment. If you are in a relationship with someone, or you're in connection with someone, even platonic, and you do not feel any kind of, you don't feel a spark, you don't feel a drive, you share space with this person, you don't really feel anything, you know? Is that worth your energy? Is that worth your attention? Are you, because what you're explaining to the universe when you choose something you don't want is you're letting the universe know, you're lying to yourself. You're causing a dissonance within yourself. Internally, remembering that the universe, God knows you. They know you before you know you. You come from that place. So it knows exactly what you want. But then you come to the universe and you go, I want this. The universe goes, are you sure? You're going, yeah. But the universe is internally knows you very well and is very aware that but that doesn't match with that. But okay, I'll give you what you want. They don't match though. It's not working. That doesn't make any sense. You're working a job you don't feel energetically drawn to. It takes energy out of you. Every day you come back from this place and you are exhausted. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you keep choosing that? You share space with this person and you feel, it feels like a constant this, but there's no this. Why would you keep choosing that space or that person? What you're choosing is more of this. We all know that rhetoric. When you choose, when you come back from a space, and it exhausts you and it makes you feel tired, and then you return to that space, you're choosing that exhaustion and tiredness. So that eventually, the universe won't even have to give you that space that you keep choosing to be exhausted and tired. The universe will compute that, understand that, oh, okay, this person actually just wants to be exhausted and tired all the time. Yeah, okay, cool, yeah. That's great. Let's keep doing more of that then. You want to be misaligned. Okay, because you keep choosing this thing that's not aligned with you. You keep choosing this thing that's not aligned with you, so you want to be more misaligned. Got it. You want to feel more sensations of being misaligned and you want to feel more hopelessness. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. Then more, here. Take more of it. that's how the universe works. It's like, it's an incredibly intelligent, conscious computer, machine. And I think that, honestly, I guess this is also just me and the way that I was groomed to think about the world. Thinking of everything in terms of computation and comparing even other humans, even my own self, to a machine and to like a computer helps with the processing. It really helps. Like, for example, and this might be useful for you in processing this kind of energy, after being aware of the somatic approach to trauma and being aware of how literal that can be, where like EFT tapping, you can press parts of your body to help you process emotional trauma. Very, very, very helpful. And I think also very helpful for this frequency of like hidden pain, anger and violence, and all of that disguised as an internal misalignment and hopelessness. Very helpful. So look into that, actually, somatic practices. Let's see what's beneath. The Queen of Swords. Yeah. Okay. So this is a lot of pain. You may also be, and let me also just like hold you for that. You may also be just choosing the same cycle because this hopelessness is as mentioned, it's fear. Fear is difficult. Fear is difficult, especially when you've experienced what happens, when you've seen rather. But yeah, this does also feel like an experience. Like you're still trying to heal from past experiences. I don't think that this queen would be holding the sword up and preparing, as it seems, for a volcanic eruption or for whatever bad to happen if she hasn't already experienced something bad. So it's like this volcano has erupted before, maybe, or you know what I mean. This sorrow is not unwarranted. You are very validated in all the pain that you may be feeling or acting from, and the fear and the hopelessness. It's very, very valid. It is. And I'm sorry if anything I've said before now gives off that sensation. We are all human in our feelings, and it makes total sense, but it also kind of doesn't make sense because you're really blessed and very, very... the presence of this card gives me that, like, you thought that you had to do a lot of work, but you don't. You never did, and you really can just take the stance and be in stillness and chill and relax and... Well, chill, relax, be still, man. Be still. Let it be well in your heart. And just make the scary decision. It's gonna yield results that are gonna shock you. These three cards, they're all in reverse, right? But upright, this would be incredible. Upright, this is work that fulfills you. This is being aligned every day with the work that you do. And this is a frequency I've read on before, and a frequency I've said is coming. You just have to choose it and believe it's possible. You just have to believe that it's possible. It seems like you really, really don't. You really, really don't. And that's why you're really insisting on working this sad-ass job or being in this sad-ass relationship. Sorry. 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 I know how difficult this is. I really do. I know how difficult it is. I felt called to read on the Four of Swords. I just noted now that you have the 6 and the 4 of Swords with the 5 of Swords missing. Okay. I just wanted to take note of what the 5 of Swords energy was, that it's not present here. But it's interesting because the 5 of Swords speaks of unknown fears. I need to face the fear, rather. And these cards here speak of that fear being present. Okay. Whether you choose to face this fear or not, whether you choose to make this scary decision or not, this decision will be made for you. Yeah. With reference to like what I said earlier. If you're working a job you don't like, you're probably going to be like released from it in some way. In some way, I don't know. Or even like, and I'm talking in some way. So yes, you maybe a retrenchment or whatever, but even if this could even happen through a moment of where you're at work and you experience something totally egregious and irritating that you decide, I can't do this anymore, and you quit. If you don't choose to end this thing, it will end itself. Oh, this isn't your choice. Sorry, this is not your choice. This thing is something that needed to end a very long time ago. And I guess you're watching this reading as a heads up. It's going to end. And you just need to Four of Swords the thing while it ends. Let me read to the Four of Swords now. Yeah, there's no choice. There's no choice. You were given a chance to choose. You were given a chance to choose. You didn't take it at the time, and that's okay. Happens to the best of us. Definitely happened to me. And I know this lived experience of going through your life, humdrummy. You feel this internal sensation within to make the decision to do something, but it's too scary. So you decide, no, I can't do it. But it creeps up, it persists, it latches onto you until it eventually kind of like depresses you. You know, it weighs you down. It makes you feel tired. It brings on a daily sensation of like lostness, almost like of being in a spiritual void. And it still persists. And because you're still afraid, you are detached from the fact that that's actually the thing that's communicating with me through these feelings. You ignored it the first time, so you continue to ignore it, so you're not aware that that's what it was. That's what it is. Then eventually, your life and your circumstance just goes, fuck it, and ends everything for you. My God. And this has happened to me in the death sense, where in connection with someone, while connecting with them, I get that internal sensation that says something's weird, something's off. I don't know what it is. This is strange, but I'm going to keep going. The sensation persists and says, look at it, pay attention, look at what's going on. It's weird because you're right. You feel it's weird because it is. Look around. Still ignore it. Then the universe goes, well, okay, you're not listening to yourself. You're not listening to the story. You're not paying attention. So I'm going to show you. This is what I was talking about. And then actual death happened. I've seen this happen so many times. And with the presence of the judgment, I'm sorry, I don't want to fearmonger, okay? I don't. But the intensity of this reading and the intensity of the interpretation of these cards are something that I have to at least give respect to. You're already in the fear energy, so I mean, there's not much more fear I can give. But I hope you understand that there's nothing to fear at all. And you are God's baby. You are in the palm of the light's hands right now, and there's nothing more for you to do. Be still, be in observation, because life is about to fucking change. This is quite something, actually, now that I'm settling into the energy of the shift of what's happening right now, what has to happen energetically. It's quite insane. This card speaks of a conservation of strength to avoid your vital forces being depleted. A welcome refuge in the midst of strife, solitude and meditation. Transition period between phases of your life. That feels like the highlight. That's what this is. May indicate a need to change the way you think, to see problems as opportunities instead of trials. That idea is coming up again. All right, that's what it is. That's what it is. The way that you think and are perceiving a situation right now is completely incorrect. If there's any situation in your life, look for where you feel the most hopeless, wherever it is. You're wrong about it. You're wrong, okay? Your inner devil is absolutely fucking lying to you. You are so deeply wrong. And what's even more hilarious is that whatever it is that you're hopeless about, it's going to happen anyway. So you're going to be on the other side of the situation with cake on your face because you decided not to be hopeful, not to enjoy yourself, not to I don't know, prioritize your true sense of your prioritize your connection with yourself. Like, you chose it all for yourself. You chose that for yourself. What's coming next is something that you is something that will still be what you chose for yourself when you were happier. And, this is a huge shift in life circumstances to prepare for a wish fulfillment that was supposed to happen a very long time ago, but didn't, because you insisted on continuing to believe that it wouldn't happen. You insisted. You just kept, you wanted this thing. You said, universe, I want this. And the universe said, okay, let me make it happen. And it was happening. And you started getting really impatient. And then life and its sorrows happen, right? So life sorrow happened. The sorrows, they sat with you, because you also have the 3 of Swords later on in this deck. The sorrows really sat with you and they changed your heart. While the universe was still working on this thing, you forgot that you were waiting. You forgot that you asked for this. You forgot that there's actually something there's something to be really excited about that's coming for you that you asked for. Because life got really heavy, understandably so. And it got so heavy to a point where you decided that not only does what I want not happening, but not only does what I want not... Not only is what I want not happening, but it's not very possible to get what you want. And then your shoulders slouched and you kind of went, oh, well, I guess I have to do the best with what I've got with this, even though I really don't want it and it does not make me extremely happy like I know this thing would, but it's fine. I'm just going to keep choosing this because I guess I have to humble myself or whatever. And the universe is kind of there, still working on this thing, going, what? Why? But this thing that you want is pretty much done. Why would you change your mind like that? It's basically ready for you. And you kept going, no, it's fine. I'm not going to get what I want. These things are not possible. Playing out these stories is so fun. This is not possible for me. Oh, woe is me. Oh. And then... yeah, you're woeing, and then, okay, I'm getting you going, oh my God, nothing's going to happen for me. And you know that action of like, you're woeing, the literal the moment transition, moment to moment movement of going, oh, and then you look up, you just look up, the transition is so subtle. And suddenly everything you want is right there and it's right in front of you and you cannot ignore it, and you can no longer pretend or make up your own inner narratives about, that's not really it or whatever. It's very obvious that this gift and this thing is for you. This career, highly likely, a job opportunity, the perfect one in every way. Maybe you've been saying you want to work from home and you want to get paid this amount or whatever. That exact package you want just falls on your lap in a random email. Or even a random interaction, face-to-face interaction. It is giving largely career though. I know I mentioned relationship a lot, but it's very much a material activation of some kind via your money. And also more via how much time you spend, via what you do in your minute to minute, via what you do in your day to day, via how you spend your days, yes. You want it to be, some part of you always believed, actually, that your day to day can be spent in total joy. You can find a job or career way of being that can make you happy and that does not drain from you and doesn't ask too much of you and gives you what you pour into it and can give you even more than what you pour into it. It's possible to live a life that way. Some parts of you always believed that. A bigger part of you gave that up, especially around the time of this reading. Fine, but you're going to get what you want anyway. Yeah. These two cards also give the energy of tending to the self. Tend to your mind, man. With the Knight of Rods also. Try to be more hopeful, really. Just like try to be more hopeful, because it's not for you to be this hopeless, to be negative, to be pessimistic. It's really not for you. It's not for you. Not even that it doesn't suit you. It's just not, it's literally not yours. That way of thinking and being hopeless and of being disconnected and of doing things out of fear and worry and like, yeah, it doesn't suit you, babe. It doesn't match. It doesn't align with your personal brand. It's time to get so serious about being hopeful. Not even so that you can bring in more, manifest more, whatever. What you want is coming. It's a fact. It's more just like you're wasting time not being excited about it. Yeah. That's all I have. I think that's a good idea and energy to end off on. Thank you so much for being present in the reading. I'm loving I figured that I needed to make a change about the way that I approach the readings and the way I title them, because I think it was honestly my problem that people kept coming in and asking for free readings. I should have clarified way in the very beginning of this journey that these aren't what they are. So while it is that makes commenting a bit awkward, like what do you comment on if you're not asking to get a reading, right? I do appreciate the hellos and the highs. I appreciate being greeted. As a Black person, that's actually very important to me, being greeted. So thank you for everybody that even just comments a hi. I really appreciate that. I'll see you in the next reading. I also wanted to just give a shout out in this one, or like just put out there that I've been really missing tarot and chills and being able to pull cards for people. So I will definitely get into doing that sooner rather than later. And I did want to try doing it via TikTok, via other apps, let me say. So I will look into that, be on the lookout for that. And yeah, that's all. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next reading.